Let's get real, America. Let's get real. I've got to tell you, first and foremost, I've got my camo on. I want to thank right out of the gate all of our veterans. I have several companies across the country, mainly on the East Coast, from Florida to Angola, Fort Wayne, Indiana. And all of our companies are celebrating our veterans. All of our employees are celebrating our veterans. I want all of America to celebrate our veterans. I love this country. I love what this country has done for me. And I, like you, want to give back. I want to give back to America. I want to give back to the people in this country. And so I am going live again tonight. I normally go live in the mornings. And I'm not going to give you this drama, but one of the cool things about having your own show and doing it is you do your very best to do your very best, and you have your studio in your house, and sometimes things go awry. And so I am committed to this show. I'm committed to giving you 5 days a week of my thoughts and Wired Differently in my coaching. My name is Todd Saylor, and my aspiration is to be in pursuit of America's coach. I want to be your coach. I want to be America's coach. I want to be able to serve you. I want to be able to talk to you. I want to be able to share what I've learned, and I want to learn from you. I want to be your coach. ToddSaylor.com. ToddSaylor.com. That's SAYLOR. ToddSaylor.com. Click inquire, give us your name, and we will call you and we will talk. But listen, tonight is a special show. Tonight is like the end of my Get Real America series. Get real, America. Get real. So at 6:30, 7 o'clock, I have a Successionaires group where we wire differently people. We got some 200 in that group. You're welcome to apply or join that group. And we talk in the mornings, and I get more intimate, and I know the people on the call. I know the people on the line, and we talk about successionaire things. This idea of becoming successful in our lives, this idea of becoming successful in our businesses, and this idea of becoming successful spiritually. I think it takes all three things, personal help, your spiritual help, and then your profitable success. I want to help you do all of those things. But this week, I'm ending this week, and I think it's an upbeat. I think it's upbeat. We had a busy week, everybody here in America, and I picked this week to title the series, Let's Get Real America. Let's get real, America, right? We're a real America. Let's get real, America. And I decided to break down the leadership lessons into the acrostic REAL. And I did that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. R stood for relationship. Where are you at in your relationships, in your leadership life? E was for your equipping. Where are you at in equipping yourself and equipping other people in your life? I want you to get real. I want you to take that A, and I want you to understand, what is your attitude all about? And our attitude fell on the next day after the election, and we talked about everybody's attitude. It was like everybody was just kind of peed off, man. I mean, like the Republicans were peed off and the Democrats were peed off. And they're like, iron sharpens iron. And maybe that might be where we set in America, where if everybody's kind of pissed off, then maybe we're going to get along. I don't know. I don't know, but I know that attitude, when we talked about attitude, is only helping you when you're in a crisis situation. And I think both sides are feeling somewhat of a crisis situation, or feeling like their side is not performing. Republicans feel like they should have more votes, and the Democrats feel like they may have lost, but then they didn't lose by that much, and the Republicans feel like at least a win is a win. And so we're kind of meandering around in this world of quo. Nobody knows exactly this land of quo. I wrote about it in my first book and my second book about the land of quo. I mean, this ability for some people just to kind of hold the line and do the status quo, and we don't want that. For some reason, this land of quo seems to land on our balloting system. Man, is that a mess, right? Why can Florida, of 6 million or so people, be able to rip it off overnight and have it done, or Arizona with 3 million people can't get it right for a week and a half? I mean, and I read somewhere that they have a $2 point some billion budget to count votes. right? We've sent people to the moon and back for smaller budgets. They just have to count one election night votes. And, I don't want to jump on the bandwagon, but I mean, it's just a very pathetic situation, and leadership is not there. And for some reason, it continues to be in these certain states where they just drag it out. Now, Georgia, we're going to give them a break because Georgia is in a runoff and they worked their heart off, both sides, we're going to see what happens. But the last letter I wanted to talk to you about, which was yesterday in the acrostic of real, is the letter L, and that is leadership. And so I bring all this together, leadership, and I dare spoke about President Joe Biden yesterday. I decided that I was going to coach Joe Biden, and he came out and he gave a speech, and I talked about Joe Biden, and I thought he did a good job. I mean, actually, I gave him 4.5 stars for his address after the apparent loss in Congress and the toss-up in the Senate. And I thought President Joe Biden, and I went on the record. You can go back and watch the show. You can watch exactly what I said. I said he did some good things. He did some very, very smart things. He was clear. He was coherent. He clearly had prepped for the call a little bit. He didn't say he was going to do the call, but he ended up doing the call. And I was very, very, I listened to Joe Biden for almost an hour, if that tells you anything. And I'm a righty-tighty, and I was shocked on how well he handled himself. So I gave him high marks for empathy. I gave him high marks for no name calling. I mean, I don't think he never said MAGA maggot once, or MAGA maggot once, and I didn't hear anything disparaging. So I gave him high marks for leadership, but then I went in and I said, whoa, yeah. He stopped short, man. He stopped short of telling us, right, why we're leaving the border wide open. He stopped short of telling us why we want to defund the police. He stopped short of telling us where all this money's going in the Build Back Better new name policy called Inflation Buster Act. I mean, he stopped short of telling us anything where that is and what it's doing and all that trillions of dollars. He stopped short of telling us, how we were going to stop the drugs from coming across the border. He stopped short of so many political policies that after I started thinking, well, how can we do this? And so I literally gave him high marks in that regards for leadership at the moment. I was very proud of that situation. But then I started to think about the policies. What about the policies? Well, today is a special day because I want to talk to you, in all fairness. The Democrats basically talk about Donald Trump. They're still talking about Donald Trump. They're still fighting Donald Trump. It's been 2 years. But here's what I want to get serious with you about, because I'm talking about Friday and I'm talking about leadership. And I want you to understand that even though Joe Biden doesn't fit in the policy box that I want him to fit in, I can still recognize that he had a good night in leadership. And I think the Republicans should pay attention to that because he is the president of the United States. Somehow he is doing this with one hand or two hands behind his back. I don't think he's controlling the country. I think he's got people. But I got people. I listen to what they say. So I mean, I'm just like, let's think about this. He's the president of the United States, the most powerful man on the planet, so they say. And he's getting ready to run for re-election. And I started to think about in 2016 when Mr. Trump was running and I was supporting Donald Trump. I still love Donald Trump. I really do. I appreciate what he did at the time. We needed a leader to cut through the BS and to be as arrogant as he was and as confident as he was, and let me go to say as boldly as I can, as narcissistic as he was. So, I mean, I can't take those votes back. And I'm not asking anybody to take the votes back. Matter of fact, if he would have won the second term, I am confident the country would be in a better place than it is right now. I mean, this country is in the worst shape it's been in over 40 years or some crazy statistic like that. I mean, inflation is at 8%. I'm getting ready to do a COLA adjustment for all of our employees, and we're going to give them an 8% increase. I promised them they would never go back in the economy's measurement tools. And I mean, that when you think about my organization, just one of my organizations, that's over, it's like $150,000 a year just in inflation increases for my payroll a year without merit increases. Call me crazy for a policy of such, but I did it. I'm going to follow through with it. And Heather and Sam and the team over there, I mean, they're certainly grateful, and they're giving me good coaching in regards to that. But I want to tell you that that's just crazy. The country's never been in this situation where gas has been this high for so long and not seeing a way out, inflation and food where it's at. This country's borders are ripped with people infiltrating and flooding, and it's a damn insurgency, if you ask me. I mean, there's no control there whatsoever, and they're lying about the fact that there is any control there. People are dying on our side, people are dying on their side. I mean, it's not a good situation, but the bottom line is, if the Republicans can't win right now convincingly, why in the world are we thinking that we can continue to move this inchworm forward with the same answer that lost the last election? Now, listen, I want to start this off with basically a love letter to Donald Trump. It basically goes something like this. Dear Donald, we were partners. We fought a good fight. We waged a good war together. We embraced each other. We supported each other. We had each other's back until January 6th. When you just couldn't pick up the phone and call the army off. That was when our breakup started to become more serious. That was when we realized you were not going to be president. That's when we realized that the world had changed. You came out in the second half. In the first half, you were great, but in the second half, you'd never changed your game plan. You kept the same defense. You kept the same offense, man. You never added empathy to your offense whatsoever. It was always straight D. Dominant, 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 dominant. You never took my advice and said, show some compassion. Why did you go out into that debate and basically hope for an old man to fall over? I started to wonder about our relationship at that point. And now that we're 2 years into this presidency, it's clear that you are not the president of the United States. And I'm concerned. I just don't feel the same about our relationship anymore. I think we need counseling. What? You don't want to get counseling? You don't care enough about me to try to change up your offense and your defense? You don't care enough about me to understand what I want to say? You don't care enough about me? I think we're breaking up. Now, listen, I totally believe if the president of the United States was Donald Trump right now in the second term, we would be better off. But the bottom damn line is he's not the president of the United States. And the world has changed around us. It's a different field, right? It's a different defense they're playing. It's a different offense they're playing. And you know what? The bottom line is, why would we want to run the same guy again? He lost. And this is the kind of guy that's not going to get one more vote than he got the last time he ran. He's pissed off half the world, whether it's good, right, or well-intended. But the bottom line is he's not picking up votes in the offseason. He is not picking up franchise status. He is not a more marketable player now that the season has passed, coming on 4 seasons of this new election. His stock is not higher. And here's why it's not, because he's coming out already. And here's the problem, Mr. Trump. You need counseling. If you want to be the president of the United States again, you need to listen to me, damn it. I'm trying to help you because you got some of the best gifts the world has ever seen from a leadership capability, but you're too bullish. There's 4 types of personalities in this world. There's dominant, there's inspirational, there's supportive, and there is cautious. Most great leaders are aware of all 4, and you only have decided to harness one, dominate. There's a lot of people that would say the dominant personality is the one we need. We do need it probably in wartime, but right now we're trying to run a country. Mr. Trump, please understand why. This is why my switch is flipped. Why? Mr. Trump, why? Why would you go out? You haven't even initiated yourself into the arena. You haven't even declared yourself. You've been sending me text messages, 4 and 5 text messages a day. I can't stop. Who else is having these text message problems? Please give me more money. Please give me more money. Please give me more money. But you gave none of your money to the Senate race. You gave none of your money to Herschel Walker. You gave none of your money to Arizona. You never gave none of your money to the Senate race. You didn't help my poor man over there, Scotty Moore in Florida, a first-time representative to run and give up everything in his life for his country and his God. You didn't help him one bit. The entire grand old party didn't give him one damn red penny. He went in and on his own. He raised the $800,000 own. He took on a giant, and he almost beat him. Yeah, I'm pissed off over that. And then you throw him out when he doesn't win. Where are you? You see, leaders build people. I was raised by a dad too, Mr. Trump. I heard you on the Grant Cardone show, and you guys are a pair. Grant asked you if you had a story about how great your father was, and the only thing you could come up with, and I'm not slighting your father or anything, but what you were trying to tell me and the whole world how your father taught you how to lead. And your father was so cheap that he didn't want to pay an extra $4 a gallon for roach killer, so he took it to a chemistry lab, figured out what the ingredients were, and made his own to save $4 on a roach can. And we're rewarding this, and we're saying this is a great story about at one time the most powerful. He ripped somebody off to win $4. Well, listen, let me tell you about my dad. My dad was a leader. In my mind, I think he's as good a leader as anybody the world has ever seen. I mean, you see, he was a football coach. He won 72 games in a row, never tied. He never lost a game. 72 in a row, set the world record. 95, 5-1 was his record when he left Hudson, Michigan. He ended up winning 300 and some games. I don't know. He's just a freaking legend. He's just like a massive, amazing man. He's in his upper 80s now, and he's not the same guy, but so what? I love him. And he taught me how to lead. Yeah, and I'm kind of pissed off about DeSantis, and that's where I'm going. This is what leaders do. My dad never went out and saved $4 on taking somebody's recipe from a cockroach can. No, he coached men. He coached young men to play football. I remember one time I was 10, 11, 12. I don't know. I'm always 12 in my stories, but I went over to a football field in 1971, and I was there to see the practice. And I just can't believe this to this day. I think about this story. And I remember going to the field. It was a dark day. It was a rainy day. It was a kind of crazy day. And I looked over to the field, and I'm looking for footballs and football players in practice, just like I always did. And I look over there, and there's some football players crawling underneath the agility ropes, man. It's like crawling like military people. And then over in another corner, I saw a bunch of them doing monkey rolls in the mud. It was crazy. It was crazy. I was like, what is this? No footballs, no helmets, no pads. These men were just screaming and crawling and rolling. And then the last pile of men was over there in the distance, and they had one man over their shoulder, and they were running down the field the best they could and to make 100 yards across the finish line. And as I was watching these men try to plod their way there, I could see in the distance they all made it except for one man with a man over his shoulder. And I was perplexed. And as the man fell 5 yards from the goal line, all the players started chanting, "Get up, get up, get up." You'll die if you don't get up. The coaches were screaming and yelling, we can't help you. No one can help you. No one's here to save you. Get up, get up, get up. And miraculously, as the players had gathered around this player and they looked at him, he somehow got up out of the mud and the rain. And he threw the man over his shoulder and he finished the drill. He plotted the last 5 yards and collapsed on the goal line. And the players went crazy. They were screaming, he lived, he lived, he lived. Perplexed by this, my father saw me in the distance and he walked over and he said, son, what's wrong? And I said, Dad, I've never seen anything like this. Where's the footballs? Where's the helmets? Where's the pads? I thought you were a football coach. And he looked at me and he kindly regarded me. He said, son, I'm not a football coach. You see, son, these men are not going to leave high school and go home and work on the farm. These men are not going to leave high school after this season and go to a job in a manufacturing company. You see, son, these men are not going to go on to college. You see, son, I'm not a football coach. And these men are going to Vietnam. I'm not a football coach. I'm a builder of men. You see, son, I'm a builder of people. And this is the kind of leadership I want to implore to you from the leader of the free world, the leader of our country. Yeah, my dad's a little too old and he's a little rusty, right? But the bottom line is, here is the converse here. Here is the situation when I want to compare my father to a Donald Trump or a Donald Trump story of his father on Grant Cardone's 10X show on how much money can we make. We know Donald Trump can make money. We know Grant Cardone can make money. Congratulations. But are they succession heirs? I don't know. I don't care. All I want to tell you is that we need leadership. And we need leadership that's built around building people. Donald Trump was the right answer at the right time when he won the election. But let me ask you something, and let me actually tell you something. My father never once came to any of my functions after I became successful in entrepreneurship and business and in my family, and came to an awards ceremony. He was at my Hall of Fame awards. He was at my All-American awards. He was at all these awards of functions that I've done, and never once did he get up and speak and say, you know, if it wasn't for me raising my son, he wouldn't have been so successful. Yeah, you know, and that's the rub I've got, right? I mean, Don, you went too far. Ron DeSantis busted his ass, put his wife through treatment and cancer survival, kept this state of Florida going, turned the entire state around. And now all you can say is that he's an average Republican, right? Now all you can say is, yeah, I raised him. He was nothing without me. Man, I need to help you in leadership 101. And now all you can say is he's DeSanctimonious Santos because he won't not run for president, that he's so loyal. He should be so loyal to you that you lifted him up. You also said that he could have never won the state of Florida without your help. You also told everybody that his campaign was a wreck and he was no good at his job until you came in to save the damn day. And then here's the thing that gets me now, Mr. Trump. Why are you picking on this man? He just had the best day of his damn life and all you want to do is piss all over his Wheaties? Come on, somebody. I mean, this is ridiculous. And now you got the nards to say, what? I have some dirt on DeSantis, DeSanctimonious Santos, that only his wife knows? I mean, are we talking about Antonio Brown or are we talking about the ex-president Donald Trump? Why would we run a one-termer? Why would we put a lame duck in office? I'm concerned, America. I'm concerned that you're going to put this guy in a position to lose it all again for us. I'm concerned that he will pick up fewer votes than he got the last time. The heat is so hot against his arrogance and his inability to control his narcissism that he will not be elected again. And so this is why I'm writing the love letter to Mr. Donald Trump. If you're not going to listen to me, then let's get some counseling. I appreciate what you did for China and all of our economic policies. I appreciate what you tried to do on the border. I appreciate what you did on the tax loans. I'm not an unloyal, unforgiving person, but I am a grown-ass man. I am 57 years old. I have made some really good decisions, and I don't need to be pushed around. I don't need to be talked to that way. And I don't need my good dear friend, my new bestie, Ron DeSantis, dismerchant and obliterated before he even has a chance to get out of his house after having the best day of his life. I don't think that's right. I am a loyal man. Come on, does anybody know me? I'm a loyal man. Ask my employees. I literally have been loving the Detroit Lions for, listen, I counted the years, 50 years. If that isn't loyal, I don't know what is. Every day I root for the Detroit Lions, and every day I believe they're going to win the Super Bowl. That's loyalty. Don't tell me I'm not loyal because I'm just talking about a relationship that needs counseling, and I'm rehashing the moments of this business decision I'm about to make because it's a business decision, America. I love the Lions. 50 years. I've been married 34 years. That's more than half my life. That's loyal. PayServe Systems been in business for 20 plus years. That's loyal. Tom's Donuts, my dad's business, the franchise, the donut capital of the world, right? 53 years I've been making donuts and loving my brother, my family, my sister, my mother, and my father. Yeah, we set the world record. Donut capital of the world. Love it. 53 years. Don't tell me I'm not loyal to Mr. Trump. Don't tell me I'm not a loyal person. Don't tell me that, you got your taxes, you got what you want. No, that's not what's going on here. What's going on here is a commonsensical situation that I'm trying to tell you that I'm struggling with, America. A man I love, a man that I respected, a man that I put in position of power. I don't feel the same about him anymore. And when I started talking to people about this, I confessed that I was a little nervous. And then I was more mad that why am I afraid to say how I feel about the way this man is acting? Still, you're supposed to be fearless. And you're worried about how someone's going to feel about you because you've had a change of heart. You see things differently in the new offense and the new defense. Come on, man. So I felt compelled to come out today and tell you how much I care about you, to tell you how much I do love you, to tell you as your coach. Coaches build people. Coaches love people. Coaches understand the four personalities that this world is made of. Coaches build teams. Coaches don't build themselves. Bear Bryant never said he won a game. Bo Schembechler never said he won a game. Woody Hayes never said he won a game. Lloyd Carr never said he won a game. Don Shula never said he won a game. Mike Ditka never said he won a game. Tom Brady never took credit for winning a game. Right? My father never got up once in front of a crowd when I was receiving an award and said he was nothing if not for me. He couldn't utter those words. They're true, but he could never utter those words. I love you, Dad. And I love this country. I love you guys for listening to me tonight. All right. So let's get it done. Let's get real, America. And did I say we were the donut capital of the world? All right. I gave you 30 minutes of my heart tonight. Leadership, leadership, leadership. Leaders lead. Speakers speak. Thanks for giving me the time. Share this show if you're brave enough. I love you. ToddSaylor.com. Let me coach you. Let's go, America. Let's get this thing done.